Radical.
Aaron Rodgers is a fraud. There's never been an instance to where I can boldly yet easily claim that a quarterback is a fraud other than Aaron Rodgers. Because you see, many people that are fans of Aaron Rodgers will point to his career, his numbers, and his one quarterback ring he got with Green Bay. Seems like forever ago. They'll point to his great percentages, touchdown, interception, and it never fails to amaze me how we don't really look at people from the very beginning and end of their careers and culminate all of that when we really kind of go to judge them. Because the end of your career matters too, I believe. How you end everything matters too, I do believe. Look at the Miami Heat's Dwayne Wade. Had a great final game. I think it was a great final game. You could still see clearly his skills were on display. Aaron Rodgers is one of the worst quarterbacks currently in the league. I was looking at some of his stats, and he is 30th in completion percentage. Did anyone think it would be that fucking bad? Like, if you switched him out with Bryce Young or Jacoby Brissett or some of the worst quarterbacks in the league, or even some bad rookies that are starting, or, I don't know, Zach Wilson from last year, the stats wouldn't look that different. Funnily, eerily, hilariously, did you know that the stats for the first two Jets games, quarterback play, were almost exactly the same from last year? And you're talking about a quarterback that you went out and got, and you were really, really excited about getting. And this is the Aaron Rodgers you get right now. Well, one thing you can say about Aaron is he's squeaky clean. Squeaky clean because the motherfucker is washed. Washed. Now, I guess a lot of people should have saw this coming because, you see, Aaron didn't devote himself to the game of football. Unlike some quarterbacks later in their years, like Tom Brady, for instance, he didn't care about even showing up for training camp. He went on his little darkness retreats, taking all kind of different kind of drugs, whatever he was doing on those darkness retreats. Went to Egypt when he was supposed to be with the team, building communication with his offense, But no, he didn't care about that. He's that dude too cool for school. Come on, you can go. I'll let you go. Come on, there you go. There you go. He was that guy too cool for school that just was going to show up late to class and think he was going to ace the exam. It's not how it works. He's even coming off of an injury, which was an injury that kept him out for a year, even though he somehow weirdly made us think that he was going to come back before the end of the season. There's so many levels of Aaron Rodgers. And one thing is the fact that he is just, I'm not even going to go into all his personal problems that he has. Just who he is, man. Just who he fucking is, man. He's somebody that a lot of people really don't root for. You kind of root against. Because he's just very incredibly toxic, man. And people from Green Bay, they warned the Jets. Fans from Green Bay, they warned the Jets what they were getting into. Man, I'd be here all day talking about Aaron Rodgers, but I'm not. I'm going to move on. I'm going to move on a little bit to talk about another team called the Green Bay Packers, who are killing it. They're the opposite. And believe me, I wanted to talk a lot more about Aaron Rodgers, but we'll switch it over to the Green Bay Packers, his former team, who are very thankful to get rid of that toxic, washed-up old motherfucker. And when I say old, I mean, in football. In football. Like, 40's not... It's not old, but like for football, it usually is. I mean, Tom Brady, he aged gracefully in football, but Aaron Rodgers is washed as fuck, man. So you have the opposite, which is going on, ironically, which is the team he was traded from, the Green Bay Packers, who have an amazing offense and even better defense. They're a young team. They're young, great offense, great defense, great coaching. They're 6-2. Which is the exact opposite of 2-6. Do you think they would be 6-2 with Aaron Rodgers as quarterback? No. Jordan Love comes out of nowhere. No, by the time he's done, Jordan Love might be a better quarterback than Aaron Rodgers. He might have more than one Super Bowl win. The Green Bay Packers are on that trajectory. And like I said, they're a young team. I wouldn't be surprised if Jordan Love has maybe 2 or 3 Super Bowls before he ends his career. They have great chemistry too. And they even have a good backup. Their backup in Green Bay is better than Aaron Rodgers. Or hell, I don't know. Maybe it's just the system. Maybe it's how things just run in Green Bay, right? So, back to the Jets, other than Aaron Rodgers, what's going on with the Jets? So, the Jets team, they had to have an answer to why the team was starting off poorly. I guess they wouldn't want to point to Aaron Rodgers. They said, well, this is impossible. We have this A-class elite quarterback play, so why is the team doing as stinky or worse than last year? So what they had to do was they had to fire Robert Saleh. There's a point when I think Aaron scored a touchdown, maybe the second touchdown. Robert Saleh went in for a hug, and he pushed him away. He didn't want to celebrate, I suppose. But maybe there was some friction between both of them. There was something about cadence where, well, I'm not even going to get into the cadence, but let's just say that Aaron kind of wanted Robert Saleh gone. We're supposed to believe that the owner had a talk with Aaron Rodgers the night before, but it had nothing to do with Robert Saleh, the coach. Okay, so you know what the Jets do? Mid-season, they fire mid-season the coach. So they thought that would help improve things. The defense for the Jets was great. The defense was doing their job. It was the offense that was a problem. So they decide to get rid of Robert Saleh. And then they continue to suck right after. Robert Saleh, by the way, is going to be a consultant with the 49ers. Okay, so good pickup for them. They still sucked after Saleh was fired. And then they had the brilliant idea, here's what we'll do for Aaron. We'll go get Davante Adams from the Raiders. They have good connection with each other. We're going to make Aaron happy. Maybe then he'll be better. No, he'll still fucking suck, even with Davante Adams. And then even after they sucked, Davante got there, by the way, had a team meeting. And Aaron said they had a great team meeting, and Davante gave an inspiring speech, right? But think about this shit. Somebody just gets there and tells you all, what they think you need to hear. I'd be sitting there if I was a Jets player that had been on that squad for a couple years going, who does this motherfucker think he is? And who did this other motherfucker think they is? Who the fuck do these Green Bay Packers, former Packers, think they are? And I always think of Davante as a Packer, not really a Raider and everything. So it is just a complete and utter, I called the Panthers a dumpster fire, but this is kind of a dumpster fire too. So if I'm looking at both teams, I don't know who's worse off, like the Panthers or the Jets. Just pick your poison, I guess. I mean, I can't really answer that. And did anyone think actually they would be in this position to where they're 2-6 right now? It all comes down to Rodgers. Even the biggest fan of Aaron Rodgers has to put the blame solely on him. There's been so much drama also he's brought to that team as well. The whole team, the morale must be terrible. So what do? Do they bench the great Aaron Rodgers? That would be fucking hilarious. I would love to see them bench Aaron Rodgers. That would be so funny too. Like, also for his legacy, man. What's this mean for his legacy? It's got to hurt his legacy just a little bit. And since he's a fraud and he's been exposed, I think he's probably going to be done in the NFL. What other team would be interested? Is there any team out there that thinks they're an Aaron Rodgers away? I mean, hell, even the Raiders that I just mentioned with Gardner Minshew, I don't think they would trade for Aaron Rodgers. He's just old, washed, beat up. Plus, he brings a ton of toxicity to the locker room also, and just drama. Do you really need that? Now, one thing I was going to make a separate upload on, which I don't know how a structure for an upload is, the fact that there's video evidence of Aaron Rodgers seemingly eating one of his own boogers. And weeks before, Gardner Minshew, quarterback of the Raiders, ate their own booger. Now, I have never eaten my own boogers. Even when I was a kid, I didn't eat my own booger, to my knowledge. It's usually like a thing kids do out of curiosity, correct? I think I smeared boogers before, but I didn't eat them. So, any of you that have eaten boogers, how do boogers taste? Do they taste really good? Well, actually, some of you in the comment section will try to trick me and eat my own booger by saying it's delicious. But no, apparently they picked their booger, and I guess they didn't want to fling the booger, so they figure, oh, we just cover this up by just eating the booger. It doesn't matter how many millions you make as an NFL quarterback. I guess you're just not good enough to eat your own fucking booger, right? I mean, of all the things I would eat that my body produces more than a booger, like earwax, I don't know, it's close and close. I think I would rather eat earwax over a booger. But you know what? I also don't think I want to think about this anymore because I just ate something. So shit, right? So what do you think about Aaron Rodgers? Do you also feel that he's a fraud? And did you see the video? Do you think he actually munched on one of his own boogers? Is he a booger munching fraud?
Booger! Booger!